What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Sales Remastered. My name is Daniel and I'm your host in this episode, which is video 2 of 5 in Outbound Originations week, meaning that each and every day this week, today being Tuesday, yesterday being, of course, the first video, I touched on just the psychology of the prospect, right? Our audience. And our audience are those that we outbound call to, those that we cold call to, per se, what used to be cold calling. Now, and the reason why I don't think there's any cold calling anymore is because cold means you have no information or they're just not in the market to buy, where I believe you can create a warm lead, because if you bring value, if you do your homework, if you use the resources in front of you, and I'm not just talking about Sales Remastered content, I'm talking about the resources your eyes are already on, like Facebook, LinkedIn, internet, whatever, and actually research, gather some intel on your prospect and come in a little bit more equipped, so that way you're not bringing a knife to a gunfight. Yeah, good analogy, by the way. I'm firing off on all pistons. I had a pretty good workout day today. You know, got my cardio in. Today was leg day. And yeah, I'm feeling good. So I want to touch on the, yesterday I had a chance to dive in and really kind of talk about the prospect and their mindset, right, and their perception and how their attention span works. And I even gave a notion of maybe bringing in insider information with giving them that wow factor before you actually go in for a sale, because I believe that going in for a sale without getting it warmed up is kind of like, you know what I mean? There's just no foreplay. There's no emotion tied to it. And so it's not really loyal, right? And so it's just kind of quick, almost like a quick hookup. Like, that's it. It's like a kiss on New Year's Eve. Like, you got it because it was New Year's Eve. Does that make sense? Where you couldn't have made that sale if it was any other time. And so I'm going to teach you how to make that sale any other time. And what I want to do is I want to talk about lead types, because you would not, and I get the question all the time, like, hey man, do you have any scripts for an outbound call? And I thought about it, and of course I do, obviously, but where it is different from an inbound script that I have on salesremastered.com. So if you hadn't had a chance to download that script, make sure you go check it out. There's a link below this video. But with regards to outbound scripts, it depends on what type of lead it is. And so let me give you an example. You would not necessarily approach an internet inquiry lead with the same outbound script that you would approach a lead that you already talked to, that possibly could have replied back from, let's say, a mailer piece or a radio ad, right? And the reason for that is because their views are different, their POVs are different. I got a video about POVs, and it's not only just the salesman, but also the prospect's POVs. And that's my way of sharing with you, and I kind of a sample of incorporating EQ into your sales process. EQ stands for emotional intelligence. Well, EQ actually stands for emotional quant. Fucking fun fact, right? IQ stands for intelligence quant. And so what it's referring to is just basically how aware you are of not only your surroundings, but the emotions with your surroundings. If you want to ever see emotions being controlled in great form, if you ever want to know or see NLP in action, NLP is neuro-linguistic programming. If you ever want to see NLP at its finest, check out the next presidential speech or any prior presidential speech that addresses a concern that may have some kickback or resistance from the community. And so inside a lot of politicians' speeches, not necessarily just the president, but individuals who run for office or people who run for certain seats or certain chairs, they'll incorporate NLP inside their script, inside their speech. And if you ever want to, let's say politics not your thing, it's not, really my thing either. I'm not going to sit there and fucking follow that shit. It's just not me. I do the same with sports. It's just not me. And in regards to NLP though, if you watch like an infomercial, there will be there'll be anchors and triggers that just grab at you, right? And that works. It really does work. And the same exact reason why we operate or we think in a certain way when we see a picture of a baby, there's a certain reaction and trigger that we have when we see a picture of, let's say, in a picture of wolves, right? You don't have the same trigger as you would if you just saw a newborn baby. One's going to put you in a particular climate, and then the other one is going to put you in a completely different state, right? You might get more aggressive if you see the wolves. It might spark motivation if you see the wolves. But if you see a picture of a baby, then you're a little bit more caring. You're more like, ah, right? One of those. And so it's opposite, but there was no words. It was just a picture. And it's because you have anchored an emotion with similar images like that. And so, and again, you could show it to someone else and the picture of wolves could frighten them. And so now they feel scared instead of feeling motivated, right? So to each his own, to each their own. Some people are auditory, some people are visual, some people are, we all interpret message differently. And so why I bring this up is because our prospects are the same. And so understanding each lead type will let you understand their point of view when they did the inquiry. And so case in point, if someone heard something on the radio in Thanksgiving, and that radio special was the Thanksgiving special, it may have been different than an advertisement shown in the mail. It could also have been different from, someone who got one direct mail from you and are not particularly shopping, whereas the radio ad responded back because they're currently shopping. And so it's important not only to leave notes on whatever lead type, but understand that each particular lead type is almost like a genre. And when I refer to genre, what I'm talking about is you cannot enter one genre, let's just say R&B, right, with the tempo, the mood, and the expectation to hear punk rock, right? It's just, you're a completely different wavelength. And so when you understand, you study each and every lead type, you understand that you can approach them in a different way that's going to create a different reaction per. And so similar to different lead types, I also consider their job title. And so if I were talking to someone within an executive title or a managerial title, I'm not approaching them with the exact tone or same tone or even the same words as I would approach someone who's at a customer service level or a customer support level or receptionist level or an assistant level. I am using specific words that they are comfortable to. I'm using a particular tone that they are accustomed to and they're comfortable with. In other words, I'm not approaching that executive or that self-employed entrepreneur with instructions, right? Because they are typically the ones who give the instructions. They are usually the one who sits in that authoritative chair. So what I will do instead of give them orders, if you will, is I will be more collaborative. I'll be more mastermindish. And when I pitch it, I want all credit to feel like it's going to that individual. So I'm going to present it in a way where I'm saying, hey Jim, I was actually putting together the information I'm going to release to you to your email right now. And I had a question. I want to run it by you real quick. I know you had mentioned that A, B, and C is important to you. And so in making my notes and ensuring that I help you accomplish A, B, and C, I came up with something that I think you'll like. And before I release it to you, I want to verify with you. I can help you accomplish A, B, and C. Furthermore, because we accomplish A, B, and C, what will happen automatically as a byproduct of us completing that benefit is D, E, and F. And so when D, E, and F happens, then what happens? Then you'll soon realize that G, H, and I will eventually come in time. And so here we come at a point where here's your first step, here's your stepping stone to get to where you're looking to go. So before I release it, I want to make sure if this is something that is tailor fit to you, this helps you handle your goals. It does. Okay, good. I thought you'd agree with that. Here's the thing is I don't know if you're qualified yet, So what I'd like to do is, if I can, I only want to present information that's worth your time. So if you don't mind, go ahead and send me a text picture or fax or email me a copy of your W-2, your pay stub, your recent mortgage statement, and your proof of insurance. What I'll do is I'll just look at it, I'll validate, put my license on the disclosure, and release it as true. And so now you confirm that you have a bridge to cross. You're not wasting your time looking at generic information anymore. But here's the thing, is that I can't release it, nor can I offer it to you until I confirm that you are entitled to use this bridge to get to where you want to go. In order to use this as a vehicle, per se, I need to make sure that you have the right keys. And so your key to get inside is your W-2, your pay stub, your mortgage statement, and your HOI. But here's the thing, is before we even go down that path, let me just ask you a few basic questions. I know your main question is, what is your rate and what's your price? And that's exactly what I plan to release to you today. Unlike my competitors, though, I'm a direct conduit to the source. You see, what most consumers don't understand is that we all go to the same cow for the same milk. These cows are named Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, VA, and FHA. The only reason why you're utilizing me is because of my relationship with these cows. That and my milk comes far cheaper than what you can get at an outlet retail store. In other words, there's not an Uber charging you for the milk that I'm giving you, because that Uber is the one that drove that milk to me in order to sell it to you. I'm not charging you those extra upsells or those extra fees. But more importantly, because I am a conduit to the source, I'm going to help you avoid certain points, certain discount fees that both brokers and also retail outfits will deliver, or they'll put into their estimate. And to ensure that you can avoid that path and utilize this clean alternative path, I want to make sure that you at least have a bridge across with us. Because here's the thing, in order for me to even release any information to you, I need to ensure that it even applies to you. Whereas all these other competitors, and everyone has their own way of operating, we just choose to do different. All the other competitors that I have is more than willing to tell you their lowest rate. They're more than willing to say they'll pay for an appraisal. But isn't it odd that when you get 3 to 4 weeks into the process that things change? Isn't it odd that they never seem to have all the documents that they need? Is it odd to you that they always come up with some random event that they did not see up front? I believe it's because they didn't do their homework, and this is exactly why we operate a different way. I'm going to show you why every homeowner in Orange County prefers to do business with us. But before I can even extend that option to you, I need to make sure that this is even worth your time. And that's how you lead them down. This is how you engage in a conversation. And so if I was using this mentality on any lead type, right, I'd consider the year, and I consider any information that is already in the media so that I can leverage that if I don't get any traction on my call. So in other words, we are hearing about this tax reform. We are hearing about the tax or the interest on equity lines of credit no longer being tax deductible. And then we also know that the values have increased. We also know that there has been a purchase market for going on 2 years. A majority of those individuals buying houses used equity lines of credit or used government loans to minimize their down payment. And so now I have a solution that can help them remove their mortgage insurance. It can help them combine their first and their second. It can help them rid their equity line of credit so they do not have a credit card tied to their house. They don't have a $100,000 credit card compounding interest tied to their house that they can no longer write off the interest for. And so what I'm doing now is I'm combining few factors that really pop out. I'm making noise in a different way. And so I'm mentioning that it's 2018. I'm mentioning that there are now new updates with regards to the new tax reform, and we are ensuring that they are kept up to speed. As a courtesy from my company to them, because they took the time to inquire with us before, we give complimentary updates and notices letting you know for the time you've given us, we're now giving you back the time to keep you ahead of the curve. We're giving you the information to ensure that you are prepared to make the absolute right decision in a timely manner, right? We can help you by doing A, B, and C. So we can help you take advantage of these new 2018 rules where you're not in a position where you're paying more interest than you need to and not having the right write-offs that you need. So in order to even ensure that this is an option for you, let me go ahead and send you this report. It's this really neat report that our company has just rolled out, and we usually only release it to our clients. And this report has to do with a lot of the information that determines your property value, like how much your neighbor's house sold. You know, remember that one house that was on the other street that you saw for sale? How much that house sold for? I'm gonna have all that information. As a matter of fact, you are. And when I send it over to you, it's going to show you what influences your property value. It's going to give you sneak peek without having to pay for an appraisal. And this just ensures that you have the foundation to achieve your bigger picture, your big goals. And so I want to make sure we do that. What are your big goals? You know, and now you're carrying it on, right? But it's a different approach than saying, hey Jim, this is Daniel with such and such lender. I talked to you early last year. Do you remember? No? Okay, well, I'm that dude that pitched you. You never called me back. I left you like 900 messages. You never returned any of them. And then when I pitched you again, you said no again, and you actually got mad, hung up on me, said that I couldn't talk to your wife because I was aggressive. Do you remember me now? Yeah, I'm that dude. Hey, do you mind giving me about 10 minutes so I can try to pitch you again and win you over this time? That's exactly how most salesmen ask. But what happens is it comes out in a different way. It comes out in a different way, like, hey, Jim, it's still a great day at my company. Can I offer you, are you still in the market to refinance? Can I offer you a proposal? Can I offer you a quote? This is, it's so ineffective, it's making my stomach hurt. And so if that's your method right now, or you're using some sort of alternative method not announced in this video, I invite you to try this method. And then please comment, let me know how the method works. Comment below, let me know if you doubt this method. And more importantly, like, comment, and share this video. Let your team know that they have the reference. Let your sales manager know where you're getting your training from. This ain't your normal training, and I hope you appreciate that. This is not the training you can get from your corporate trainer. They're not going to tell you how to persuade, how to influence. They will tell you how to use their CRM. They will tell you where the links to their guidelines are. But when you need to close a motherfucker, you only have a few resources, and Sales Remastered is one of them. I'll see you in the next video.